Yeah.
24 hours of peace, peace, love, unity, safely having fun. Real hip hop for the people. It's an engagement. It's a demonstration. Using hip hop culture to get you activated. Let the people hear the bass, the vibration, the love, peace, unity, and watch them add on. It's a culture. It's not just rapping. It's not what we do. It's how we do it. We're doing it right here, Springfield Avenue, between Bergen and Plum. 24 hours straight, man. It's crazy.
We the people. The people of the culture.
Yeah, Ron Lawrence.
Fire. The hip hop culture.
Yo, we love rap.
Yes,
Love
we
it.
do.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. But it's really about the culture.
Yeah, let them know how.
The realness. The culture. Yeah.
What up, man?
You know a hard head makes it soft behind. If I only knew my schoolwork like I knew them rhymes. Mom upside my head, I'm trying to memorize every line. High power rap that breaks super rhymes. Deep into the culture, didn't even know it. Young entrepreneurs spitting bars like a poet in a rush to be mature behind bars when we blow it. In the bold as rappers too immature to outgrow it. It was more than just music, something next to breathing. I get giddy like a baby trying to spit while I'm teething. The mic I'll be squeezing, dropping facts like I'm teaching. Leaking flows for the perfect beat seeking. Mama used to say, take your time, young man. But I'm trying to feel a light so you can see it when I tan. I'm like one I never ran, I'm a fan but never stand. Just take it Blackwood to the East X and out the clan.
Holy integrated, having omnipresent, we are.
But no one stopped to think about the people.
Holy integrated, having omnipresent, we are.
But no one stopped to think about the people.
Pueblo Unido, grassroots Steve Biko. Rule number one, never forget the people. I live that, I give back. Half all in it, no gimmicks, straight facts. From the start, I'm the light from the dark. Born from black art, knew my part. Daddy gave me, mama made me. North raised me, hip hop saved me. For the culture now, for the black and brown. Harriet Underground, sun up to sundown. Till my people get out, north to down south, spread like word of mouth. While you cowards is hooded, we battle the bullet. Black lives to the fullest. Out here to the end, stronger together, that's the day we win.
Holy integrated, having omnipresent, we are.
But no one stopped to think about the people.
Holy integrated, having omnipresent, we are.
Yeah. But no one stopped to think about the people.
The legends before me are ones I want to get it like, but hitting quick hit different when hitting right. Mob ties, this thing of ours is birthrights. Who's next for the culture and them searchlights? Do it to it, this music, I'm trying to talk through it. Every plan on my own, I watch the lie do it. Airborne to skiki like a Wendell Pruitt. Trumpets blow, this song's here, melodic ruins. Think forward before they have to think form. Boom bap, I talk that and live enormous. Informers when present in your boy performing, especially when them drums snap by Brian Lawrence. Do it all, that poet talk of the line crosser. Mini hawk and I speed by in flying saucers. Make it worth it, I can't take no people offers. Signed, sealed, and delivered, and you know the offer.
Holy integrated, having omnipresent, we are.
But no one stopped to think about the people.
Holy integrated, having omnipresent, we are. Yeah, the people.
Cheer. Real hip hop is for the people, y'all. Like I say all the time, real hip hop isn't what we do, it's how we do it. And real hip hop is for the people. Real hip hop is about community. Real hip hop is about upliftment. It's, of course, the expression of art. It's the expression of how we see the world around us through a form that we call hip hop, but it's actually a pretty ancient lifestyle and cultural form. We call it hip hop in its present iteration, but what we call hip hop is just the way Black and brown people have been communicating with each other and expressing themselves and building since the beginning of time. And those who are hip hop understand hip hop when hip hop walks in the building. Your boy Hakim Green is hip hop all day, every day. We start this show off with real hip hop for the people. Big shout out to my brother Ron Amin-Ra Lawrence, who produced that track. Big shout out to Amiri Baraka Jr., the chief of staff of the Honorable Mayor Roz Baraka of Newark, New Jersey. Do It All Kelly, Dupre Kelly, who's the West Ward councilman for the great city of Newark, New Jersey. Dupre Kelly is of the legendary rap group Lords of the Underground, multi-platinum selling rap group, hip hop group, Lords of the Underground, and he is currently the West Ward city councilman. Of course, my brother Amiri Baraka, co-founder of 24 Hours of Peace, which is the event that is in the video. 24 Hours of Peace is an initiative that we created 16 years ago that we execute every year in the great city of Newark, New Jersey, to push peace, love, unity, safely having fun. Let me not also forget G. Simone, the wife of KRS-One, who sings the hook on Real Hip Hop for the People. Of course, I come from the tutelage of the teacher, KRS-One, knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. So I try to carry that baton. I try to carry that torch of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, peace, love, unity, safely having fun. That's kind of, my shtick. Everybody has their shtick, their thing, their, what they're selling. And, we're going to get into that a little later with our guest, MYRON CLIFTON, author and political commentator. We're going to talk about, his history, but also get into American history, American politics, the system of economics that rules the day, which is capitalism. That's why I say everybody's selling something here. It's just the culture of America, the culture of capitalism, is you have to sell. Just don't sell your ass, ladies and gentlemen. Do not sell your ass. Okay, that reminds me. I'm going to take you guys over to madisminc.com. madisminc.com, which is also HAKIMGreen.com. That's the website for all things Hakim Green, all things Madism. All we do is spark Madism, and we have some merchandise over there to share with you fine folks. I need you guys to tap in to madisminc.com, see what we got going over there. We got some music, free downloads. You can check out what I've released lately, download it for free. But we also have some merchandise over there. Big shout out to Cool Brands. Big shout out to Canapri, my boy Primo. Big shout out to HBC Outdoors, who does our merchandise. We got sweatshirts, t-shirts. We got long sleeves. All we do is spark Madism. We got the baseball tees. We got the muscle shirts, t-shirts. Check out the gold foil, kind of fresh and fly over there. And like I was saying before, don't sell your ass. In America, you got to sell something. We sell the t-shirts over here at madisminc.com. But we are not selling ass. That's not what we're doing. We need some integrity. We need some pride. We need some morality. We need ethics. We want to uplift each other. So we're not going to sell our ass. That's not what we're going to do. But go check us out over at madisminc.com. And also, guys, I want you guys to check out 24 Hours of Peace Inc.com, which is the website for the event festival, also the website for my other company. And 24 Hours of Peace is more than a company that does a festival. We have a series of workshops using hip hop culture to impart life skill tools to young people. Because like I said before, hip hop is not what we do, it's how we do it. So let me just show you what the 24 Hours of Peace Inc. website is looking like. And I need you to go over there and check us out. Of course, we got merchandise because in America, you got to be selling something. We're just not going to sell our ass. It's not what we're going to do. Official 24 Hop merch available right now. Get ready for this year's event going down August 28th, 29th. We got the ill lineup. I'm going to be dropping flyers over the next week or so you can see what this year's festival is looking like. 24 Hours of Peace, Inc. is a community-based organization committed to advocacy, awareness, and education. Our mission is to advance a national series of social political movements to reduce increasing incidents of youth, gang, and gun violence. We use the power of hip-hop culture to organize local communities through art and entertainment while sharing important tools that assist in overcoming obstacles. And that is our mission. That is what we do over at 24 Hours of Peace, Inc. Go check us out, y'all. Go check us out. So yeah, that's kind of the rundown. That's our intro. We're going to do our little current event segment as we prepare for our guest, Myron Clifton. That said, what you got for us, Vita? Vita's in the background, chefing it up, getting our topics for the current event segment together. We got a lot to discuss. New York Knicks, 53 years since their last championship in 1973, which is the year hip-hop was given birth. Well, that's the year we attribute to the birth of hip-hop. But hip-hop, like I said before, is ancient, really has no birth date, no birth record. But we celebrate 1973, which is the year the father, Kool Herc, did that seminal back-to-school celebration. And now, 53 years later, the New York Knicks holding up that trophy. My New York Knicks fans, you know, congratulations to you guys. Salute. I'm so happy for you because we definitely like to get our clown on when it comes to the New York Knicks. It's been so long since they sniffed any parts of a championship. They were in the chip in 1999. They faced the San Antonio Spurs, ended up losing. And then that's the last time we've seen them in the chip. And then this year, you know, that this team, you know, I have to say, you know, one of the best teams all year long. Jalen Brunson is really one of the better point guards in the league, if not the best point guard in the league. You know, there's some debate around that. You know, you got the Kyrie Irvings, you got the Luka Doncics, you got a few other folks who, you know, do their thing. But Jalen Brunson, being the general, being the captain of the New York Knicks, he's, you know, hats off to him. I really like the way he does his thing. Karl Anthony Towns, another phenomenal player, was traded over to New York about 2 years ago from the Minnesota Timberwolves, and he's a huge addition. He's done some phenomenal things in this run. OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, you know, just the whole squad through and through. You know, Mike Brown, hats off to you. You know, your first chip as a head coach. He was head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers when they lost to the San Antonio Spurs. And that was LeBron James's first chip appearance. Took the L. Mike Brown was also head coach over at Sacramento for the Kings. He was actually De'Aaron Fox's coach. You know, De'Aaron Fox was the star point guard for the San Antonio Spurs. We watched De'Aaron Fox make some key blunders in this series against the Knicks. But Mike Brown, I think, showed that Sacramento letting him go was a big mistake. Got to New York and within 1 year, hoisting up the championship trophy. Big shout out to the New York Knicks, man. You know, it's good to see. Now they have a parade going down tomorrow. It starts at Battery Park, and it's going to culminate at New York City City Hall. And I want everybody to be safe. You know, act civilized. You know, I see New York Knicks fans putting their hands on some of the San Antonio Spurs fans over the last week and a half. You know, we don't want anybody to get hurt. We don't want anybody to get arrested. We don't want anybody to get trampled out there. I know New York City is going to be off the chain tomorrow. Have a great time, guys. You deserve it. You deserve it. I wish I could be there to celebrate with you. I'm down here in sunny Florida. I'll be watching remotely, celebrating with you guys. You know, I've spent a good part of my NBA basketball fanship clowning you, man. So it's going to be a change to actually salute and celebrate you guys, and I'll do just that tomorrow because you guys deserve it. What we got next, Vita? Oh, man. Josh. What the fuck is his name? This clown-ass motherfucker. First of all, talking about clowns. The current president of the United States of America is probably the biggest clown walking the planet. The White House is a circus. And the other day they had this UFC fight in front of the White House, you know, just making it even more of a circus. And this guy, Josh, whatever his last name is, came out his face after his win and called Michelle Obama a man. And, you know, that's something that's been said, you know, too frequently by the MAGA crowd, questioning her womanhood, this beautiful woman who's, you know, exhibited nothing but grace, you know, as former First Lady, former First Lady. I think one of the, if not the most educated women to be First Lady in the White House. She's done so much to represent that position, wife of Barack Obama, of course. It just doesn't deserve the slander and the vitriol that is sent her way. I don't think we've ever seen a First Lady attacked the way Michelle Obama has been attacked. For him to call her a man, I think is disgusting. And I hope the Obamas, you know, really levy the axe on him and sue him, the UFC, Donald Trump, the White House, the US government, sue everybody. Shut it all down, Michelle. You deserve to. What are they saying here over on the MSNBC?
Time the MAGA universe gets a platform, they end up bringing them up. They also always end up bringing race into it, and the Obamas into it. The president does it, the MAGA does it, and it's like, it's given like, why are you so obsessed with me? And there were people today that will say, you know, as Mrs. Obama would say, when they go low, you go high. We have to ignore it, let it brush off. I feel as though that not even if, when comments have been made about Melania Trump, comments, frankly, that are not rooted in racist tropes, as in the comments that were made about Mrs. Obama, racist tropes literally to justify enslaving black women, okay, because the people in this country told themselves stories about how delicate women were, and then they had to fix the contradiction, because black women couldn't be delicate because now we got to working in the fields, okay? Right. So that's what this trope about strong black women being men is really about, but I digress. Things have been said about Melania Trump, frankly, that are rooted in facts about, you know, her presence in the Epstein files, about her relations, her relationship with and her connection to Jeffrey Epstein himself, so on and so forth, what she used to do. Y'all can Google it. I don't need to say it on television. What was said about Michelle Obama was a lie. But the things that have been said about Melania Trump, people have had to issue apologies. It's been wall-to-wall news coverage. And I have been just disgusted by the lack of coverage across the spectrum today.
Now, you know, our former First Lady, Michelle Robinson Obama, is the cousin of an old friend of mine, Nomini. And I had never had the pleasure of meeting the former First Lady, but Nomini used to talk about his cousin often, his cousin Michelle. And of course, she has a brother, Michael, and they look very, very much alike, Michael and Michelle Robinson, of course, Michelle Obama. So we know Michelle is 100% woman, the mother of 2 daughters. We know this for a fact. So for these, you know, for these tropes, for this level of slander to be going around the former First Lady is just despicable. It's uncalled for. It's unnecessary. And I think we have to really take note of the MAGA crowd who is on constant attack. But I think we also have to take note of folks who walk the fence, who kind of try to play both sides of the conversation. This brother right here, if we want to call him that, being one of them, where he sides all too often with the president and the MAGA crowd, the conservative right, while still trying to maintain, his black card. He's trying to maintain that street cred within the black community, and he fails miserably at it. And here's another example of him failing at holding down black people or stepping up for black people. His comments on this UFC fight, of course, after Donald Trump said he was low IQ. Now, let me pause this. We've seen Stephen A. for years cape for Donald Trump, run cover for Donald Trump, lift Donald Trump when Donald Trump was deep in the mud. This brother would come in and, try to wipe the mud off the doodoo off of Donald Trump, Stephen Candy, I like to call him. And once again, after being called low IQ, running cover for Donald Trump in this fiasco, UFC Freedom 250 is bullshit. Let's go, Vita.
Great event that was put forth by the UFC at the White House in concert with the White House or whatever. It did a hell of a job. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I was there, 4,000-seat arena. I gotta be honest, coming off the NBA Finals, where I was at multiple NBA Finals, better event than NBA Finals.
Wow.
It was a better event than NBA Finals. But the White House literally being right there, incredible.
Man, it's sad. It really is sad that you would stoop, so low as to run cover for this administration, for the fiasco of an event, the UFC Freedom 250 bullshit that they put on in front of the White House. When we talk about, belittling the office of the presidency, I don't think, no one's belittled the office of the presidency more than Donald Trump. And I think this UFC Freedom 250 is like the prime example of how low the office of the presidency has become. We're going to get into the political, the failures of this current administration. But this bullshit right here is just like a prime example of how low the office of the presidency has become under this current president. It's sad. What else we have, Vita?
Your question was, well, what about why UFC? Donald Trump became a shareholder of UFC in March, and then signed the agreements for this spectacle a few days later.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So he became a shareholder in the parent company of UFC.
Yes.
Is that a conflict of interest to have the president hosting this sort of spectacular, gaudy event on the White House lawn while he stands to profit from any money it makes?
It's a massive conflict of interest, but I think we've become almost numb to this massive grift, which is Trump 2.0, the second Trump agenda. Even when we see him walking around with that white USA hat, that's sold on his website, his personal website. It's something that's merch. It's merch that's available for sale. So when it's UFC branded, and then there are other brands that come in on the White House lawn, that is federal property. So we have a history of public-private partnerships, but there's a real conflict when there's payment by the federal government, which means taxpayer dollars, and on the other side, there's all the profit is privatized. It's a real problem.
The grift that keeps on grifting. I'm telling you, I said earlier in our show, this capitalism is is how we make our money here in America. Our economic system is formed around capitalist principles. So everything's for sale. Just don't sell your ass. We don't want to sell our ass, but if we don't sell our ass, you can best believe Donald Trump will be trying to sell our asses. And, as we see, the White House is definitely for sale. So, yeah, it's a sad day. What else we got, Vita?
Obama, and they said he's a stupid son of a bitch.
Is the text of the agreement now final, or are you still...
No, it's not final. It's a memorandum of understanding. And if I don't like it, we'll go back to shooting at them, dropping bombs on their head.
When do you expect the wording?
If I don't like it, if they don't behave, we'll go right back to dropping bombs right smack in the middle of their head.
So the word is that Donald Trump, came, or how should I say, has this memorandum, this memo, we call it a MOU, Memorandum of Understanding with Iran, because it was revealed that we were about to run out of reserve oil here in the United States. And that happening, over the next, I think, few weeks, 4 weeks or so, was something that kind of pressured him into an agreement that Bibi Netanyahu actually didn't want us to enter into with Iran. Israel wants this thing to keep going. They've been bombing Lebanon. They've been going after Hezbollah. We know if they've been doing the Palestine. And, what that thing has been like over the last 60 some odd years. But of course, since October 7th, 2024, So he's caught between a rock and a hard place. And in this memorandum, it seems as if Iran gets $300 billion. We know Donald Trump criticized Obama for, giving Iran $1.7 billion, but that was $1.7 billion of Iran's own money that was being held from prior conflicts. We were holding that money and to get them to agree to a nuclear weapons, getting them not to proceed with their nuclear weapons program. We were holding that 1.7. We gave it back to them because they were following the rules that were set in place. And Donald Trump criticized Obama. And the talking point was America gave Iran 1.7 billion. No, Obama didn't give Iran 1.7 billion. We gave them back their own money. This fool is giving them $300 billion of American taxpayer dollars, yo. This has been a total loss across the board with this war against Iran. Why we went to war with Iran, why we started bombing them, why we entered into this conflict. Most say it's because we were pushed into it by Israel. I guess over time we'll find out what the real causes were, what the real reasons were. But they're chalking this up as the greatest loss by the United States since Vietnam, possibly greater than Vietnam, the loss of Vietnam. So it's something to keep our eyes on. This memorandum of understanding has been entered into, but the slightest turn could send us back into conflict with Iran. This agreement could go out of the window, which again puts our economy, our oil reserves, our government, our people in jeopardy. So, though we've reached some type of an agreement, keep your eyes wide open, ladies and gentlemen, and stay alert because Donald Trump always has tricks up his sleeve. I think we're going to push forward, Vita. Thank you. I know there's some other things that we wanted to talk about, but if you leave them up, please. I think I want to discuss some of these things with Myron. But that said, we want to move to our guest. He's in the building. Quick introduction. Myron J. Clifton is an author of novels, Jamal's Incredible Adventures in the Black Church, Monuments, A Deadly Day at Jefferson Park, BLM PD, Revenge Was Inevitable, Her Legend Lives in You, The Untold Story Honoring the Goddess and Our Daughters, and short story collection, We Couldn't Be Heroes and Other Stories. Also check out his weekly podcast, Voice Memos, his free digital magazine, Dear Dean Magazine, and his weekly blog at both Medium and DearDean.com. And with that said, I'm going to bring on our guest, my big brother, Myron Clifton.
Hey, man, congratulations on those Knicks.
Yeah, well, don't congratulate me. I'm not necessarily a Knick fan like that. We talked about this last week on Madison Sports, I just, I'm always, all right, so I grew up a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Okay.
I jumped off the Cowboy fan when Jerry Jones acted the fool around the Colin Kaepernick situation. I was like, all right, enough is enough. And I really stopped rooting for teams. I root for players and individuals.
I like that.
Yeah. I ride with players. That said, it's good to see the New York Knicks get a championship because I have so many friends that are Knicks fans. I'm from New Jersey. I lived, about 15 years in New York City. So, it's good to see my peoples be able to celebrate as opposed to me because I'm quick to clown. The Knicks be nicking.
That's part of the fun of sports, right?
Yeah, the Knicks be nicking, boy. But they finally got one after 53 years. So big shout out to the New York Knicks. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But this show is about Myron J. Clifton. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for participating. I'm so glad you hopped on Madison Sports last week. That was big. We were talking about the proposed SEC boycott.
I loved it.
Yeah, the response to the gerrymandering that's been going on in Louisiana and other southern states. South Carolina tried it, but had to pull back. And so, we had that conversation on Madison Sports. You guys can check out the Madison YouTube channel and see that interview. We spent an hour digging into the proposed boycott. Myron was one of the first people that I saw call for the boycott. Of course, DL Hughley and others, NAACP is pushing that real big. But you were one of the first folks that I saw announce that. And, for the last probably year or so, I've been following your IG page. Love your commentary, love your takes, identify with a lot that you say. So it's big for me to have you on this platform to talk. And, I want to learn more about you. Bay Area native?
Yes,
right?
sir. Born and raised in East Oakland.
Yeah. And you said on last week's show that you were one of the children fed by the Black Panther breakfast program.
Yeah, that school breakfast program, actually it was before school breakfast program. They fed us in the parks. And I should also mention they arranged for all of us poor kids without health care to get vaccinated in the park in East Oakland.
Wow. Okay. All right.
That's right. They got doctors to come out, volunteers. We lined up in the park, man. Thousands of little black kids got vaccinated.
Well, that's amazing because of the the controversy around vaccination.
Yes,
and we're gonna talk about RFK in a few. It is joking. What you call them? Gravel? What was your name for?
I say he talked like he gargles asphalt.
He gargles asphalt. Yeah, he does. It's motherfucker. But that's interesting. Because we hear so much about the Black Panther Party. There was somewhat of a revival over in Philadelphia. They haven't changed the name to the Black Lions, but just the interest in the Black Panther Party. One of my mentors is Dhoruba Ben Wahad, who was a member of the New York Panthers, part of the Panther 21 case that Afeni Shakur, Tupac's mom, was a part of, Jamal Josephs and others. I was a part of an organization called the Campaign to Free Black Political Prisoners and Prisoners of War from 1989. So I was there for the release of Dhoruba when he got released. And so I'm keenly aware of the Black Panther Party and its importance, but I've never met anybody that was there when Huey, Bobby Seale, and then later Eldridge Cleaver would come aboard there in Oakland. So I kind of wanted you to discuss what that meant to the Oakland community and yourself.
It's interesting because it was a big deal in Oakland, Berkeley, and San Francisco, right? In that era, because you had the Vietnam War protests, you had the Black Panthers, and you also had the start and the beginning of the Hells Angels, right there.
Right there.
And so if you were in Oakland in those days, you were immersed in it, whether you agreed, whether you liked it, it didn't matter. It was there, right? And so I was a child because I was born in '64, so late 60s, early 70s, they were everywhere. And not just in their social activism and everything, they were also the Panthers I'm talking about, providing rides to the grocery stores and to doctor's appointments for seniors. They were following police on the police patrols, trying to protect the community. Now, it wasn't all, it wasn't all rainbows and lollipops, because there was, even at that time, pushback from what we now call the establishment. I'm talking about Black people now. And at that time, it was, quite honestly, the Black church who were saying this is not the way, right? But the Black Panthers had youth on their side. And remember, these brothers were early 20s. They were young. Teenagers in college. Huey got his PhD from UC Berkeley. And they were young, and they were saying that we don't have to live like this. We don't have to live with police brutality. We don't have to live with the lack of services. We can do this. It was the Black Panther Party. I can't think of the full title, but basically for self-defense, right? It's just, we're going to take care of ourselves. So it was a time, and you could, and we did, just be little kids running around Oakland. You ran into Black Panthers all the time. I tell a story where we used to roller skate in the parking lot where Baskin Robbins was in East Oakland, and Huey P. Newton, that was his Baskin Robbins. So he'd come through, and he would buy us ice cream, like just Huey Newton. And you're just a little kid, this is Huey P. Huey P. Newton. And then once he got, he went to prison, and free Huey, and all this stuff is everywhere. And I'm going to tell you something about the progress of that. If you skip to the 90s and 2000s and everything, there's still living Black Panthers. And you know where most of them are, Hawk?
Who's that?
I shouldn't say most. I would say a number of them are now pastors of their own churches.
Wow, that's amazing. That's the irony of it all is that when they were first
Yeah.
formed, the biggest pushback they received
Yes.
from the Black church, but they all would end up being,
Yes.
yeah. Well, because all right, so the Panthers were formed in what 67, right?
About 67, yeah.
It's 67, and we talked earlier about the civil rights movement really jumping off in late 40s with Bayard Rustin, who was really the architect of the civil rights movement.
Yes.
The architect of the March on Washington,
icon,
which was 63, but the Montgomery bus boycott in 54. This Southern Christian Leadership Conference, ministers, folks who are connected to the church, because that's where our people were.
Right. That was our power base. Yeah.
That was our power base in organizing, and you got to go to where the people are in order to organize them. So you go to the church, and then the idea of Dr. King being a pacifist, being I don't like to say a follower of Gandhi, but learning the nonviolent strategies from Mahatma Gandhi.
Yes. Yes.
Right. And then you got, of course, the Nation of Islam and later the Black Panthers, which were more, for lack of a better word, militant organizations. Like we see now, like reaching the people. Where are the people? The people, a lot of us are still in the church or we're in the street. We see the churches are kind of, to a large degree, missing in action in today's climate.
And call it like it is.
Right. And the street organizations, Bloods, Crips, Gangster Disciple, and the like, Lords, the Vice Lords, are kind of disorganized and, into the fuckery.
Yeah.
And, how do we reach the people? Like, using the past as a blueprint for what we need to do. How do we look at what happened and use that today?
I think the church missed out on a great opportunity with the spread and prevalence of social media. That we saw during COVID, the preponderance of Black churches finally get online, right? They start having services online, which, okay, that was good. But that turned into, how can we fundraise more? It didn't turn into, let's strategize and organize our $2 trillion in spending power and do something. Let's do something for our community. It became very typical TV evangelism, just let's raise more money, raise pastor and wife anniversary, birthday party, all this kind of stuff, which I understand churches do that. And that's their thing. And I'm not going to criticize them. I know that's their thing. However, when we look at the state of the country today and what you're saying, how do we organize? How do we get to the masses of people? And when you compare that to the 20-year period from the 40s to the 60s, the civil rights movement, and then later the Panthers, and trying to get people organized, I would even go to Jesse Jackson and the Rainbow Coalition, right? Look at how do you get the masses organized, including Black people, not as a backseat to anything, but running it. I think the churches just missed out on an opportunity. It can be grabbed again, but I just think they let that slip by. And now we're fighting, trying to gain some foothold in this nation that is celebrating not only that man in the White House, his people, they're celebrating that guy up in Maine with the Nazi tattoos. Like, they want us to capitulate and say, oh yeah, okay, we'll pick this guy. And I'm like, the fuck we will, because we learned something out of World War II. Apparently too many white people didn't. I don't want to go down that route. And so I think the Black church can still play a critical role. But, we talked about this last time. The Republicans targeted Black men, and that included black preachers, and they made inroads with our demographic from Obama to Kamala. They went from 7% to 12 or 14, some say even 20. And within that 20 is far too many Black church preachers, pastors, bishops, evangelists, those same people who in the 40s, 50s, and 60s were part of the vanguard to help push things out.
Yeah. I was a school teacher from 1990 to 94. So I was in New Jersey. So at the time we had a governor Florio who got the Quality Education Act passed in 90, I want to say 93, 92, 93, which was, you know, a bill that was to redirect tax dollars to urban areas, Black and brown communities, to reinvest in poor communities. And, you know, the right wing of the state said, the hell you will. But it was very outward in their, you know, they were against investment into Black. I mean, the things that they were saying, they're gonna misappropriate the money. They've never had the money, so they don't know what to do with it. I mean, they were saying just crazy wild shit. Yeah. But one of the things that was revealed is that the Republican Party in New Jersey basically got at the Black church and had you know, Black preachers on their payroll behind closed doors to either not discuss politics at all or to push Republican candidates and Republican talking points. And that
absolutely brutal.
That got revealed. And it's like, you know, we have these lessons, these clear examples of how they get down. But the Democratic Party, there's another conversation I want to have with you about, you know, Democrats, moderate Democrats, you know, progressive Democrats, leftists. We talk about what happened in Maine with the Nazi running on the Democratic ticket and like that whole kind. So, but that's for later. But just these clear examples. What can the Democratic Party do, and not just the Democratic Party, but, you know, those of us who are engaged, what can we do better in communicating these Republican right-wing strategies that they use the same play over and over and over again. Yeah.
I think the Democrats and the people in the party can do a better job of meeting, almost what you said before, meeting the people where they are. And I mean, you were a school teacher, you know about, you can see things online and you go, this person doesn't understand civics. Like you hear these commentators or people that pop up in comments and say, why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? And sometimes, you know, I take a step back and go, okay, this person doesn't understand how this works, and I'll try to explain it. But you have a lot of that in the United States. And I once wrote an article, we don't have a microwave democracy, meaning you can vote for something. That doesn't mean that one thing that you wanted that politician to do, that don't mean they can do it in a month, in a year, in 2 years. Like, you're voting long-term things. And I think Republicans tend to understand that better than Democrats. And I think what we have to do is not only do you have to get to the basics. Okay, first you got to vote locally. You got to know who's running for judge, your water board, your city council, your county supervisor. You got to know those and vote in those, right? Your mayor, because your mayor is going to appoint your police chief and you got to know who your district attorney is. Yes. Right. All those things are going to impact your life, right, day to day, more so than Cory Booker, says you in Jersey, Cory Booker or me out here, Nancy Pelosi. But they're going to impact you, but you can do something right now. But I think that we get lost in that too many Democrats get lost in the wanting something right now. And then if not getting it right now, then pouting and turning on things. And then say, well, I'm going to just check out because I wanted Kamala to win. She didn't win, so I'm done. Well, it doesn't work like that.
Well, you know, to your point with the, you know, judges, sheriff, you know, district attorney, you know, all these not as glamorous positions, but have really more power and more impact in your day-to-day life. What's happening with Carmelo Anthony in Texas is a prime example.
Yes.
You know, not having, you know, the proper pieces in place to protect him. And so many of our brothers and sisters are facing, you know, the judicial system, law enforcement, day to day, to not have folks in place that understand our struggle, can identify with us, hurts us in how we're sentenced, and how we're rehabilitated, whether there's a rehabilitation program or not. And I think we miss on that. Something else that you were saying, I wanted to draw back to the 60s. I told you last week that I got caught up in the conspiracy theory community heavy. And I would later find out, as I begin to kind of come up for air, is that the Heritage Foundation was actually responsible for a lot of these conspiracy theory books.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So when we talk about, civil rights movement being so effective in, getting our voting rights, passing civil rights, opening the door for us to gain access, to the broader spectrum of American society, it's never been equal. I don't even be twisted.
Right.
We got a long way to go, but we achieved so much by 68. Nixon gets in office in 69, and then they've been plotting and planning ever since, hence the Heritage Foundation, and we know about the Project 2025. Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on just the Heritage Foundation, the work that the Republicans have been putting in since Nixon, the Southern strategy, what that was all about?
That long game we were talking about, right? From the moment the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act passed in 64 and 65, they were plotting against it. I mean, you can go back to Brown versus Board of Education, right? And when that passed, that school district closed the next year. Instead of allowing our Black kids to go to school, they shut down. Yeah. And immediately after that, what white people start doing? They start going private. They went to private schools so they wouldn't have government oversight, but really so they didn't have to allow Black kids in it. And now you come all the way to today, they are passing bills to use public money for those private white schools. Yeah. That is a 70-year long game. Yeah. Right? That's so long. And so we have to do that as well. And when Hillary Clinton didn't win, whether we like her or not, she didn't win. One thing she said was true. He has the opportunity to appoint 3 Supreme Court justices, right? And now I hold out. Here's my conspiracy theory: they're going to kick Thomas and Alito out, and put in a couple more that are 40 years old, and then we're looking at 30, 40 years, unless the Democrats can get in and expand the Supreme Court. You're looking at 6-3 on the Supreme Court. And that's a generation to change something. So, we got to know the local people who are running. The sheriffs have so much power. I don't even talk about that. But you got to know who's running locally, and you got to know your midterms. If I think about California midterms, the loudest people are in line were 18 to 25 in the California midterms, right? We have Javier Becerra, who could be the first elected Mexican-American governor in California in over 100-something years, because California used to be Mexico. There was other governors. Yes. And you had this Steyer guy, a billionaire, buying influencers to post stuff, right? Just buying. And that guy ended up with 20% of the vote. And a lot of what we term as leftists, I mean white leftists, not Black leftists, were voting all of a sudden, telling us that billionaires are okay. They used to tell us to eat the billionaires, and there's no ethical billionaires, and they were saying vote for these billionaires. And then you know what happened? When it was time to vote, they voted at the lowest rate. Yeah.
So I'm glad you brought that up. That's one of the things I wanted to discuss with you in terms of, left-right politics. And I when I have these types of conversations with people and we talk about Democrat, Republican, Democrats are left, Republicans are right, I'm like, no, the Democratic Party is actually center right.
I agree.
Yeah, it's actually center right. American politics, by and large, is right wing politics. That in the scope of the full spectrum of political thought, American politics is right wing.
Yes.
To a truly socialist political ideology, communist ideology, over on the left, we really get nowhere close to that. Even Mamdani, who's doing a phenomenal job in New York City,
close.
He's nowhere close to being left wing in his politics. He's more center. So I wanted you to kind of talk about and define the differences between left, right, black leftists versus white leftists in the conflict.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is what I frequently delve into that on my posts. And I have talked about how I am a leftist, and I believe in the American political sphere, like you're saying, I believe that most black voters are leftists. We believe in equality. We believe in fair wages. We believe in clean environment, clean water. We believe in unions. We believe in a fair and just criminal justice system. We believe in fair elections. Like we believe in, and most of us, not all, we got a problem with the LGBTQI community, LGBTQI community, but we believe in fairness. But somehow, leftism, as is defined by the United States political media apparatus, considers leftism as white, and that leans more into class versus well, we know that racism undergirds everything in this country. That no matter how wealthy I am, if I walk out of the store and I got some diapers and they think I didn't pay for them, they call the cops. Now my baby dead in the car. They shot up the cop. And then I'm saying that lady was wealthy, but we know that can happen to us at any time. So for us, it's not class. There is a class aspect, but it's not what is the biggest, most important to us.
Before you move on, I want you to just go a little deeper into that. It's race, not class, because they convince us that it's class. If we've all just come together and love one another, it'll all be good. And it's like no. Just in terms of your take on it being race, so much so. Why do you think that?
I'll give you an example. I go back in history. White people rioted and attacked our fathers, grandfathers, great-grandparents when we tried to join unions. That was class. We wanted to join a union. It would have helped everybody. They did not want us in unions. And they voted against us joining unions. They rioted. They attacked us. And it would have benefited them. They would have benefited. And it took years and decades for us to be able to join unions. And so when we look at, if put that aside, let's go to Obama and Michelle, right? Obama and Michelle, the highest level of education you can get from Ivy League universities. I mean, up there, right? And a very great example of what we have termed the American dream. Anybody could do something, right? Not born wealthy. You can work your way up. They work their way up from what America calls the underclass. They work to the highest levels of education, made it to the White House. And you would think, okay, so they've transcended it, right? He got more death threats. They were burning him in effigy. And to this day, and with your last guest, they're still slandering Michelle Obama with one of the oldest slanders against black women that they're too masculine, right? That's a 400-year-old slander. That encapsulates why it's not class, because they are by all standards high class, and yet they are. At one point, a couple of years ago, Michelle Obama and Kamala Harris, I think it was about 2021 when I was researching it, they were the most attacked women online in the world.
Yeah.
They're not mass murderers. They're not pedophiles. They're not, they're just two women doing their thing. One black, one mixed black, and the two most attacked people in the world.
Yeah. Kamala Harris, former vice president, I believe she won that last election.
Absolutely, she won.
Obviously, she was cheated. I think they told on themselves, Elon, and I think that when we look back through history, we'll all come to the terms that election was stolen from her. But that said, even submitting that Donald Trump won, she received the fourth most votes in U.S. presidential history.
It's remarkable.
And, the way people talk about her, the Democrats need to find somebody else to run in the next election. She ran a horrible campaign. I'm like, what are you talking about? First of all, she ran this campaign in 100 days, less than 100 days. She raised more money than anybody else in presidential history. And she received more votes than anybody else in presidential history. That woman did her thing.
She did her thing, Hak.
She did her thing. And this is against the establishment Democrats, pushing back, setting booby traps and obstacles and pitfalls for her.
They didn't want her. They didn't want her.
They did not want her. Now, she has a history as Attorney General of California. She has a history as a prosecutor. There's a lot of things said about her that on the grassroots level didn't come across well. She was locking brothers up for weed.
Right.
I guess the Oscar Grant situation happened, and I don't know what part she played in it, but I guess she's got to bear the brunt of the guilt because it was a Black woman. And you being in California, you being in the Bay Area, talk about Kamala Harris, and her impact, positive impact on that community.
Let me tell you, we could relate it to the last conversation. When Kamala Harris first ran as district attorney in San Francisco, she ran as the progressive candidates, and the establishment Democrats didn't like her. Didn't want her to run, didn't want her to win, and she won, right, and won re-election. And then when she ran for attorney general, the establishment Democrats didn't like her. I'm talking about Pelosi and Dianne Feinstein, Di-Fi. They did not want her. And let me tell you what was significant about it. California only has about 5 to 7% Black population. That's it. Like, we have the second most total, right? About 7 million people. Texas has the most. We're the second most. But as a percentage, we're very small percentage here. So for her to win a statewide election when the establishment didn't like her was a big deal as attorney general. And then she won re-election. Like, that was a big deal. And she won as senator. Like, those were big deals. But I will tell you something. When she first ran for attorney general, Karl Rove was aware of that election. They started planting. Here's your conspiracy.
Yeah.
They started planting seeds, calling her a cop and saying that she was harming Black men. And when they asked him, why are you doing it? This lady is just here. Well, she's pretty charismatic. We want to make sure we're ready for her down the line.
Right. So I need you to explain to the audience who Karl Rove is.
Karl Rove was a chief strategist for the Bushes, and he comes out of even Reagan. He goes way back, and he was a strategist. He figured out how to get Republicans elected, and he did it dirty politics. And he don't care what they came out looking like. He would attack the Democrats, and he went after Bill Clinton with a vengeance his entire presidency.
Yeah. And then the reason why I wanted you to explain to our audience who Karl Rove is because it's important to understand when you have, the political strategists for the tough on crime crew, you got the folks, that people blame the Democrats and, Biden for the crime bill. And it really is like, no, guys, the Republicans were, tough on crime as the litmus test for anybody trying to reach national political office. You had to.
Man, let me tell you something, Hawk. That is a sore point of mine because, or 2 points. I was alive during the Biden crime bill years. I was in East Oakland in the middle of the crack wars. Our families, our churches, our communities were asking the government to give us help.
Yes.
We needed help because we were being overrun. Now, if we take a step back, the government put that crack in our neighborhoods, right? We can talk about that.
Reagan, Bush, Oliver North, we already,
right? We asked for that help, and that bill was a good bill. That bill got corrupted because it went through the process, and the execution of it, once it got to the ground, was terrible. So let's just say that. We asked for help, and we got help, and it was the wrong. The strategy was right. The execution was poor. That's one thing. 2, when you talk about tough on crime as a litmus test, every single police chief and every single district attorney in every city in America, they run and campaign on one topic: tough on crime.
Tough on crime.
And Democrats, I'm talking about white Democrats, they vote them in all over the country because tough on crime means tough on Black people.
Yep.
That's what it means. All of a sudden, Kamala is a prosecutor. Most of the politicians who were lawyers, if they weren't corporate lawyers, they were prosecutors. And it was viewed as a positive thing. until Kamala. All of a sudden, they flipped the script and they attacked black people and black men in particular and said she is against you. She's a cop.
Right. Yeah, I think that's really important for people to understand the games that are played on us. Played on our psyche, in that Kamala Harris gets blamed for her tough on crime policies, when in actuality, she had a tons of rehabilitation programs attached to her push. She was a progressive,
Yes.
politician.
Yes.
She
And I think people forget she didn't write the law. Right. But once she got in as Attorney General, her job is to enforce the law as it's on the books. That's one thing. And then what she did was, as you were just saying, she put in programs to mitigate the harm and damage in breaking up families and things like that. And those programs were successful, and they were adopted across the country. But also, and this relates to why Karl Rove went after her, why Trump still goes after her, and why the Republican apparatus really didn't want her to become president after seeing her in the Senate questioning people. Because one of her specialties as prosecutor, she prosecuted pedophiles. She prosecuted what we now call pimps, but they used to call traffickers and stuff like that. We call them traffickers now. We used to call them pimps. And
right.
She protected girls and boys in that world. And she shut down a lot of operations around trafficking. And I'm telling you, they saw that coming. That's why when she was on stage with Trump, she was like, I've seen men like this. And I was like, I knew exactly what she was talking about.
Yeah. So, just Joe Biden, under his presidency, Kamala Harris, his vice president, dedicated $100 million to anti-gun violence initiatives around the country. I don't know if you got a chance to check the show from the start, but I opened the show with a music video that I put out called "Real Hip Hop for the People."
I'm gonna watch that.
I'm gonna play it right now. But the video was shot at 24 Hours of Peace, which is the annual peace festival that we do in Newark, New Jersey. And thanks to the Honorable Mayor Ras Baraka, who is the mayor of Newark, he created 2 organizations within the city's Office of Violence Prevention and Trauma Recovery and the Brick City Peace Collective. Big shout out to Deputy Mayor Keisha Yuri. Big shout out to Kalisha. Big shout out to Josiah, everybody involved, who would have face-to-faces with Kamala Harris in the White House during that
Amazing.
term. Yeah.
Amazing.
And people, my friends on social media, my friends who are, not as tapped in politically, my conspiracy theory crew, people who caping for, Donald Trump. And I'm like, yo, man, this is about leverage. This is about having somebody, whether they're going to do what you need them to do when you need them to do it is one thing, but just having the phone, I could pick up the phone at Ras Baraka, who's a graduate of Howard University, Vice President Kamala Harris, graduate of Howard University. Like, that's leverage. Right.
And even if Kamala Harris was Republican, right, it still would mean we would have access. Right, you can still get things done because there's a certain connection in Howard grad, D9, and all that stuff. It still it matters.
I don't know. You would think so. I don't know, man. The way they work, I want to play this video because I need you to see this, and then I would like some feedback from you. Here we go. Let me get it right.
Yeah. 24 hours of peace, peace, love, unity, safely having fun. Real hip hop for the people. It's an engagement. It's a demonstration. Using hip hop culture to get you activated. Let the people hear the bass, the vibration, the love, peace, unity, and watch them add on. It's a culture. It's not just rapping. It's not what we do. It's how we do it. We're doing it right here, Springfield Avenue, between Bergen and Plum. 24 hours straight, man. It's crazy.
We the people. The people of the culture.
Yeah, Ron Lawrence. Fire. The hip hop culture.
Yo, we love rap. We
Yes,
love
we
it.
do.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Yeah. But it's really about the culture.
Yeah, let them know how.
The culture.
Yeah. What up, man?
You know a hard hit makes it soft behind. If I only knew it like I knew them rhymes. Mom upside my head, I'm trying to memorize every line. High power rap breaks, super rhymes. Deep into the culture, didn't even know it. Young entrepreneurs spitting bars like a poet in a rush to be mature behind bars when we blow it. In the bold as rappers too immature to outgrow it. It was more than just music, something next to breathing. I get giddy like a baby trying to spit while I'm feeding. The mic I be squeezing, dropping facts like I'm teaching. Leaking flows for the perfect beat seeking. Mama used to say, take your time, young man. But I'm trying to feel a light so you can see it when I tan. I'm like one I never ran, I'm a fan but never stand. Just take it black way to the east, X and out the clan.
Holy integrated, having omnipresent, we are.
But no one stopped to think about the people.
Holy integrated, having omnipresent, we are.
But no one stopped to think about the people.
Pueblo Unido, grassroots Steve Biko. Rule number one, never forget the people. I live that, I get back. Heart all in it, no gimmick, straight facts. From the start, I'm the light from the dark. Born from black art, knew my part. Daddy gave me, mama made me. North raised me, hip hop saved me. For the culture now, for the black and brown. Harriet Underground, sun up to sundown. Till my people get out. North to down south, spread like word of mouth. While you cowards is hooded, we battle the bullet. Black lives to the fullest. Out here to the end, stronger together. That's the day we win.
Holy integrated, having omnipresent, we are.
But no one stopped to think about the people.
Holy integrated, having omnipresent, we are.
Yeah. But no one stopped to think about the people.
The legends before me are ones I want to get it like, but hitting quick hit different when hitting right. Mob ties, this thing of ours is birthrights. Who's next for the culture and them searchlights? Do it to it, this music, I'm trying to talk through it. Every plan on my own, I watch the lie do it. Airborne to ski like a Wendell Pruitt. Trumpets blow, this song's here, melodic ruins. Think for it before they have to think for 'em. Boom bap, I talk that and live enormous. Informers when present in your boy performing, especially when them drums snap by Brian Lawrence. All that poet talk of the line crosser. Many hawk and eyes be buying flying saucers. Make it worth it, I can't take no feeble offers. Sign sealed and delivered and you know the offer.
Holy integrated, having omnipresent, we are.
But no one stopped to think about the people.
Holy integrated, having omnipresent, we are. Here are the people.
So, I like to say hip hop is not what we do, it's how we do it. And real hip hop is for the people. All right. And then we take our lessons from the Black Panther Party, we take our lessons from the Civil Rights Movement in terms of how we use hip hop to uplift our people. And then you have others who use hip hop.
Hawk, let me say on your video, that's a beautiful video, man. That's a beautiful, the scene. Look, the music is sharp, right? The lyrics hit, but that scene, all the people out there just having a good time, and you guys are doing it for a reason and a cause. That's beautiful.
Thank you. Big shout out to Rock Davis, who directed that. Big shout out to Amiri Baraka Jr., who's the second person rhyming. That's the son of Amiri Baraka Sr., poet laureate, the great activist. He's also the chief of staff for the Honorable Mayor Roz Baraka, who appears on Lauryn Hill's album, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. And the last person rhyming was Do It All Kelly, who's a member of the Lords of the Underground, platinum selling rapper, who's the West Ward city councilman for the city of Newark.
Wow. Bars.
Exactly. Bars. And then, of course, on the hook is G. Simone, who's the wife of KRS-One, who we got a school in Newark, New Jersey called the Temple of Hip Hop. So when we talk about hip hop culture and what it's doing and what it's not doing and what more it could be doing. That we need to highlight and platform all this greatness because we have great things happening, and we're creating the examples. So 24 Hours of Peace was created from me coming up under KRS-One as the teacher. Channel Live is the rap group that I was a part of, discovered by KRS-One. The former educator, activist, understanding the power of hip hop, coming up through the late 80s when we had that resurgence of cultural awareness, political awareness, the Public Enemies, the X-Clans, the KRS-Ones, of course, the parishes of the world, knowing what that did for us and then trying to recreate that, and then watching the Newark Anti-Violence Coalition, who every Wednesday for 5.5 years straight would protest the violence and crime in the Newark community every day.
Wow.
Every Wednesday, 5 years straight, rain, snow, sleet, hail, they were out there protesting. And it was like, okay, well, what can we do to add on to, lift up that message? And the answer was, let's put hip hop out on the block. So what, we started out, a few hundred people would show up. Now we bring out 20,000 people throughout the 24 hours and, pushing peace, love, unity, safety, having fun. But that said, one of our, most prominent hip hop icons of the day, who's entrepreneur, Jay-Z,
right?
In so many ways is somebody we should elevate, we should celebrate, we should look at as a success story. But then in so many other ways, it seems he's been an obstacle to our collective progress. The content of his music in the 90s is one thing, and then the Barclays Stadium in Brooklyn was another thing, and then the Colin Kaepernick controversy, and we keep hoping the best out of the brother, and then he hits us with the, what's your opinion on this?
He made a mistake. He's wrong. Well, I should say it's a mistake because it's deliberate. He's wrong for exclusively giving the re-release of his album to Target, right? I will fight that tooth and nail. He's wrong for that because a couple of reasons. His estimated net worth is $2.8 billion. His Target exclusive deal is said to be $50 million. That's nothing to a $2.8 billion to $2.8 billion. That's nothing.
Nothing.
He could have, what he could have done that would have been so powerful. He could have said, I am doing this with Walmart, Kmart, CVS, I don't care, somebody, but I'm purposely not doing this with Target because I want to support the Black people who are boycotting Target. That statement would have been so big. That album would have gone triple platinum just like that. And maybe it still will, I don't know. But that would have been such a statement that he joined in, and instead of trying to hijack the boycott or suppress it, he could have done what you did with 24 Hours. You saw the other group doing something. You didn't try to outshine it. You tried to build on it and help them and uplift them. And you made something even bigger. He could have done that. But instead, he took what he has too often taken, the very selfish, capitalist, very white businessman coded actions.
Yeah.
And I think what you have on that flyer is right, that Jay-Z is not for the Black community. He's for the green community.
Yeah, well, so not the HAKIM Green community.
Not sir. Let's make that clear.
Make that clear. But now, so I've been extremely critical of Jay-Z over the last 25 years. Like, I've got records going in on. Matter of fact, the flyer that I created for our show, to promote our show, is a song that's on this album coming out. It's called the name of the song is called Niggonometry. And, Niggonometry is the upside down world where right is wrong and wrong is right. Big shout out to Malik Youssef, Ron Lawrence on the track. But I say, it's not from bravery, yo. It's from the slavery, bro. Behavior exhibit is unsavory, so I learned to push the ladder like Black lives don't matter. When it's time to rock the nation, just ignore the chatter and whip that shit like batter. Get money for the feeling. Hashtag stand with cat but hope, so we passed the kneeling. We said, what the fuck, 200K to Crutches Club? I guess all lives matter when my brother get the snub. ends against the middle. We still ain't learn the riddle, how they X out the king like they did Malcolm Little. A game of this or that, we get treated like the black sheep. Should we leave this guy alone like Teddy Riley went to Blackstreet? And it ain't good.
Ooh, like the black women do.
Yeah. So, you know, the whole, you know, I was team Colin Kaepernick. I told you I stopped fucking with Jerry Jones and the Cowboys because of fucking Colin Kaepernick and Jerry Jones' stance, and find out he was part of that
the protests.
The protests back in the
Yeah.
57 when they tried
Yeah.
to desegregate the schools where he was
Right
from.
there.
And, yeah, he was right there. Jerry Jones looking like right there. So I was like, you know what? Let me stop cable for these fucking white men and their bullshit.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck about us. And then you know, I got some comrades who I feel strongly about. I appreciate them as leaders. They are truly leaders, and that's Tamika Mallory, who was the first person to reshare our flyer for this show, and my son, my brother, who's on the front line day in and day out. The two of them together, what they do is just, I'm so proud of them. But they received a lot of support around that Black Lives Matter support when Colin Kaepernick, and I think there was some other things that had happened, and they reached out to Jay-Z, and Jay-Z stepped up and he put money. He put money behind it, and you know, he's done some phenomenal things. Actually, the Trayvon Martin documentary that he produced, the Khalif Browder documentary that he produced, and you know, he's around recidivism and the prison industrial complex. He's done some work around. So you know, it's not, you know, all bad with Jay. It's just that there's some key things where we really need leadership from someone on his level, and he seems to be letting us down.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm glad you brought up the things that he has done, because it's important to have a complete picture, right? And I think I'm not a Jay-Z acolyte. Like it's not for me. I know he's successful. Some say the greatest rapper of all time. The whole deal, right? I get it. Yeah, and he has been a quiet benefactor in a lot of areas, right? Some quiet, some a little more noisy, but good work. When you have an opportunity to make a big, profound legacy enhancing or legacy destroying statement, unfortunately, he's been on the wrong side.
Yeah.
He's been, and I think, I don't know his mind, but I think he thinks he has enough in the bank that he can withstand doing what many of us consider activities that are bad or actions that are bad for the Black community. I think he counts on that, and he counts on people. Look, they're going to want his re-release. They're going to get in the target. He's going to get his 50 million, get on the charts, and he just goes on to the next thing, right? Yeah. And unfortunately, too much of social activism in the social media era is quick, right? It's fast. And that is why it seems more devastating that he has undercut the boycott of Target, because it's been long lasting.
Yeah.
Right. And it just seems like they called in the Black Whisperer. Jay-Z, we need you, right? And it just, by his silence, it seems like it's just he doesn't care. Now, he may just think, well, if I make a statement, I'm going to get destroyed. So I may as well just not make a statement because I'm getting destroyed anyway, and just ignore it and it goes away. But I think at some point, his mindfulness around his legacy is going to hit him and make him try to do something different. But I'm not placing any money on it, because those $2.8 billion is speaking a lot, and he made a choice.
Yeah, I was a part of an organization called Sankofa that was put together by, oh my God, I'm sorry, so sorry, but it was Harry Belafonte's daughter.
Ah, okay.
And Mr. B was a mentor and kind of counseled us and would step in from time to time. And there's one particular meeting, he was, what's up with you guys, with your generation of artists, and what's wrong with them, and they need to be doing this, and we need to be doing that. Who can get Jay-Z involved? And I was like, Mr. B, with all due respect, Jay-Z don't give a flying. I didn't say it like that.
Yeah,
but,
right.
That was the sentiment, was like, and he was so disappointed that I would say that, take that position, and not take on the challenge to try to go encourage Jay, because I know the man next to the man next to the man.
Sure.
I've done business with Jay. The first artist, actually, when he got the job at Def Jam,
okay,
the first artist he signed was my artist Sam Scarfo and Gorilla Pimp. It's the same time they signed Rihanna. So, and then I got one of my very close friends, my brother Young Guru, is his engineer. And if I try hard enough, I could probably get the J. I've been in the room, right? So anyway, long story short, I kind of know how he thought, and was like, he ain't really checking for the activist movement like that.
He ain't doing it.
So Mr. B had critiqued Jay and Beyonce publicly, and then that's when Jay-Z clapped back at Mr. B on, I think, the project that he and Nas put out. Jay-Z had said some things about Mr. Belafonte. And then I think that Mr. Belafonte, because it's Harry Belafonte, rest in peace, was able to then get directly at Jay-Z behind closed doors, off the record. And then shortly thereafter, you see him put out the project 444.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and then you see kind of, not that Jay hadn't had some philanthropy going on prior, but you really see him step it up in that way. So I'm hoping that, there's somebody out there that Jay has enough respect for that can pull his coat one more time, because, he's just one of those folks, when Jay says do something, people usually do it, or they at least consider it. And he's one of the rare entertainers out there that has that cachet with our people. I just hope he kind of switches course. But segueing to Mr. B, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, big shout out to Chris Norwood, and in terms of the 20th century, 19th and 20th century, Frederick Douglass, Paul Robeson, Harry Belafonte.
Wow.
I don't know if there's anybody that measures up since then.
That's like a Mount Rushmore, right?
Yeah. Of course, you say Malcolm Martin, you throw them in there, W.E.B. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey, but in terms of Harry, Mr. B, Paul Robeson being actors, entertainers, singers, and then Frederick Douglass, at one point, I think was the most, was it photographed person in the world at one point?
Wow.
Or portraits done of Frederick Douglass. Like at one point, to have that type of, as Black men,
right,
attention, influence, move the needle, political conscience, artistic great,
right, a thinkers,
not just people concentrating on making money. Though Mr. B going, Jay, I'm worth a couple $100 million though, right?
Right.
I financed the civil rights movement, right? Right. Like, can we get someone like that back?
You bring up a good point too, because how old is Jay-Z now? He's 50s, right?
He's 56. I think he's 57 in November.
What starts to happen, the older people that could influence him, like you said, or Mr. B, rest in peace, they go away.
Yeah.
And so now you are left to, it becomes your peers. Which of your peers will say to you, like best friends?
Yeah.
Like best friends, they could call you on your bullshit, but also they could give you brotherly advice, right? From a place of love, but it could be a critical, crucial, hard conversation. And you get older, you lose the elders, but some of your peers should do that. Who are his peers? who can talk to him like that now? And I honestly don't know who it is. Like, we lose our fathers, we lose our grandparents, we lose, our uncles, we lose our community mates and stuff. But maybe we still have some friends who are our age who can say to us, "Man, what the fuck are you doing?" Right? And you're not going to break up over it. You just have that conversation. I don't know who Jay-Z's peers are who can talk to him like that, and who would talk to him like that, because he is at such an elevated state. And honestly, I don't know if he would listen. I don't know if he's had a mild heart attack that'll reset his moral compass. You start thinking of these things. Maybe I could do something different. I start thinking about legacy. I did this with Target at Burns, but maybe I want to do something else. Like, I don't know if he's reached that stage yet. I think he's at that stage of invulnerability and access to whatever he wants and whomever he wants, whenever he wants, that I don't think right now the fear of anything, of loss, of losing, I don't think those play into his decisions right now. And unfortunately, for many people, you have to reach something critical happening. And that sort of gives you a healthy fear that maybe changes your course or something like that. But I don't know when it'll ever happen for him, but I do know he has made a strategic and I believe a legacy defining state. I don't think it'll blow up his whole legacy, but that will be right in there. When you write his legacy, him undermining the Black community at large, right, very publicly, because he has those private things, but those private things on his wiki will be down here.
Yeah.
Those other things will be up here.
Yeah, I think you're right. This whole, crossing the target boycott was a misstep, was a miscalculation.
Yeah.
The pushback, the backlash was so swift and so severe. And like you said, this particular boycott, to a 2 years standing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when we say, "Oh, Black people don't stick to nothing. Black people don't commit to anything." This is the one thing. Even we talked about the SEC boycott,
right?
And the long game, that's sticking to your guns. And we look at the civil rights movement. It's taking decades really for us to see progress. This Target boycott was like, man, Target is this. Please, we see that. Trying different things to get us back through those doors. It was like, nah, bro, you gotta take this L.
You see how fast that preacher Jamal Bryant and Nina Turner they had. You see how fast that buffoonery they got up there with that, man. People jumped on them, and I jumped on them too. What are you doing?
So it's my sister Tamika Mallory. That's my sister, man. I fucks with Tamika. I fucks with my son. So until freedom, no doubt. But she got lumped in with Nina Turner and Jamal Bryant. And she was like, I didn't say I was gonna put a target. I'm still boycotting. I don't know what y'all talking about.
She put out a statement saying, "I'm on the other side of the street."
Yeah. So do you think that, just say if there was a philanthropic component to this whole Jay-Z Target initiative that was public and announced, and there was we're going to give proceeds to Right. If something like that could have been done, could that have cushioned the backlash?
It could have. It could have. He could have said X amount of percent of receipts will go to this educational endeavor. It could have been something, but you just have it released as an announcement, and he's nowhere to be found. That is awful. It's a slap in the face, and it's such terrible public relations, but the strategy behind public relations and Q scores and why you do things and how you manage perceptions and how you manage your paying public and how you manage social media, it makes no sense that he made a blunder of this proportion at this stage of his career.
Yeah. I liken this to, I'm a huge LeBron James fan. But when he put out the statement on Memphis, it was horrible. And then I know he did a deal with Nike. It's $1 billion lifetime deal. And I think the first sneaker release as a part of that deal was the MLK tribute. So they did a Lorraine Hotel Memphis. They did my dude, why would you celebrate Martin Luther King with his assassination?
How many other black people were in the room when that decision was made?
Yeah, like, you know, you couldn't. First of all, you're celebrating his birthday, which is in January. The assassination is in April, so it don't even. You released the sneaker in January, but the Lorraine Motel incident happens in April, so it doesn't even coincide. It's like, you know, these white folks who kind of pull our strings and craft these initiatives, who aren't really rooted, who aren't really in touch, who don't really know our history, nor care about our history, misrepresent us. And, you know, we have to be more careful, the Jay-Z's, the LeBrons, everybody, myself, we got to be more careful how we're being used to push capitalist narratives, capitalist initiatives. Jay-Z talked about being a capitalist in the GQ interview. And I was, you know, I was a little like, bruh, like, why are you defending capitalism? Capitalism.
Read the room, right?
Like, read the room. Like, capitalism is born out of chattel slavery, my guy.
Yeah. Yes.
Period. Point blank. Like, you don't, you know, we make use of the tools that we have. And yes, America is a capitalist nation, but you don't want to find yourself being the champion of capitalism.
Right. You want to use it because this is the system we operate in. We got to pay rent, mortgage, right? We go to school. However, you don't want that to be your cause. Now, I am now the face of capitalism. I'm celebrating. I'm happy. And I'm going to put the Lorraine Hotel on a tennis shoe. Man, I've been to the Lorraine Hotel in Memphis, the headquarters of the Church of God in Christ. And I went there, and it's a place of reverence. And that, man, look, that was like that stupid Freedom 250 on the White House lawn in front of the Lincoln Memorial. I call that the white trassification of America. That's what that is.
And that's a great term right there. White trassification.
That's exactly what it is.
Absolutely. Now I want to pivot back to our you know, left-right discussion.
Yes, sir.
And you know, I full transparency, I'm not totally hip to this young man, but I know he's gotten a lot of attention, and you've kind of dropped some jewels on him, and I'm hoping you can educate me and my audience.
Mr. Hassan Piker.
Yeah.
Another millionaire socialist. Multi-millionaire. So he just bought a new $1 million house in California.
Wow.
So I'm not a fan. I'm gonna be very clear. I'm not a fan of Hassan Piker or his uncle, the Young Turk guy.
Oh, I didn't know that was his. I didn't know that was his.
That's his uncle. That's his uncle. Yeah.
Cenk.
Yeah. Born in they're Turkish.
Right.
Born wealthy. Look, and I look. If you're born wealthy, we have no choice in how we're born. No, we have no choice in that. That's your own thing. He has said negative things about Black people. He doesn't respect the Black community. I would say he doesn't respect the struggle, the work that has been put in, the work we did, our ancestors did, our aunts and uncles and parents did to make this country so that people like him could come here. He is shit on that. He shit on Kamala Harris, on the Obamas. He goes anti-Black. And then he talks, oh, free this. You know, I love socialism. I personally love socialism. But I have an issue when you kick the people who made what little we have possible, and then you side with whiteness and say, well, this is what we should do. He's another one back in that. He's another one back in that Nazi up in Maine. And I'm like, man, get that fake hair off your head, because I'm not listening.
He got hairpiece. He got this little rug going on, brother.
Man, what you doing? So and I want to say, I think he's intelligent. I think that he has the capabilities of being this political commentator. That's what I think he wants to do, like his uncle, get a platform and everything. I just think, unfortunately, like so many people who, you could be wealthy and advocate for socialism. I don't really have a problem with that. Like, I'm retired. I have a house in California, and I love these things. I worked to get here. That doesn't mean that I don't want, I don't want things to be easier for people that come behind me. So he could do that. Unfortunately, he has gotten wrapped up in that crowd, like Jennifer Welsh, the podcast bros, Crooked Media, those guys who used to write for Obama back in 2008, all those online white leftists who believe that they should run the Democratic Party and we should shut up and vote.
Yeah.
I got an issue with that.
That's a real conundrum, because the majority of the nation still are white, is white.
Yes.
So the Democratic Party really leans heavy on the black vote and black people showing up.
Right.
If the black folks don't show up, the Democrats don't win.
It's that simple.
Yeah, it's that simple. But then it's how do we leverage our effectively leverage our numbers to shift the political discussion, especially when siding with with someone who, like yourself and myself, who are so openly leftist,
Right.
tends to be political dynamite.
Right.
And I would even say Barack Obama, I took, and I still take strong issue with him throwing Reverend Jeremiah Wright under the bus.
Oh man.
And I understand why. I understand why he had to do it.
Yeah.
I get it. To get that seat.
I get it. I get it.
I get it. But then post Barack Obama presidency, for Michelle to write this book and dig Jeremiah Wright up again and kick him under the bus again, it's like, come on, yo, what are we doing? Like, how do we unify our differences within the black community, the realm of politics that we embody? Because not everybody's a leftist in the black community.
Right.
So how do we, we roll as a unit, though we differ in, technique and operation?
I think this is my pie in the sky. I believe that if we could, as a community, if we could, almost like countries where they have a parliamentary system where we say, we're going to vote with the group that's going to give us the most. So we stand back. We say, I don't care about Republican or Democrat, because like you're saying, it's capitalism that's on top of all that. That's the umbrella.
Yeah.
And if this group is saying, look, we want to build a coalition with you, and we're going to take your issues and make them prominent. We go, okay, then we'll vote with you. And if this group say we're going to take more, I want to sit back and be the kingmaker or the queen maker, us as a community, because like you said, we got a couple of $1 trillion in spending power. We got 20, 30 million eligible voters, and we could swing elections to either side if we so chose. We could do that. And there are governments around the world that there's not enough for anybody to get a majority. They have to build a coalition. Mm-hmm. And at any one time, the other coalition can say, we have no more confidence in you. You're not getting our stuff done. Tear it all down, hold another election. We're going to do it that way. We're just so far from that. Because I agree with the younger people that will say the Democrats as a party do not do enough for black people. They do more than Republicans, but they don't do enough. And I want to push them to do more. To do that, you got to get them in office. However, I just think we got to hold them to the fire when they're running for office. We got to say, look, and you know what? Quite honestly, I don't know who did it better than Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson said, look, I got the Rainbow Coalition, and we don't want to vote for you, right? But if you do, you need to caucus with us. He won 21 states back in 84, 88 or something like that. He went to he said, look, put this on your platform. Better wages, stronger unions, more money to teachers, better this, better that, better healthcare. And you know what? They put that on the Democratic platform. Mm-hmm. They did. Now, they had a bad candidate that lost because, the Reagan juggernaut. But it's sort of, it's sort of that idea that we say, we want this on your platform, and without it, we ain't doing nothing for you. You can win. We're not gonna tell people not to vote, but you need to give us some tangible things you're gonna do. And quite frankly, Kamala did that, right?
Yes, she did.
25,000 to build a house. You know,
Come
all
on.
these things. All
You
these
know,
things.
it's funny. You know, my wife and I were new homeowners right around the time, right before that election with 2023. We bought our house, and when she had that on the thing, like, man, if she get it, I'm gonna be mad. And we bought this house, and we could have got 25 grand for the government,
right?
$50,000 for new business.
Oh
You
man,
start a new business, you get $50,000 right off the gate,
right?
And then Joe was like celebrating Trump because he said, "Oh yeah, I got $2,000."
Oh my God! And there's still people. There's still people mad at Kamala.
Never got it.
Man, there's still people at Kamala because he said, "Well, I can't just do something for black people." There's still people mad at her for saying that.
No, but that's not what she said.
I know.
She said, she goes, "No, I'm not going to do something just for black people because whenever you do something specifically for black people, everybody else benefits." That's what she said.
That's the full statement.
It up and thrown back at her, and you know, big shout out to my brother Davey D Cook, originally from New York, but he's in the Bay Area. Been in the Bay Area for 30-40 years now, and you know, I had some criticisms around Kamala. You know, of course, all we do is spark madism, so. You know, the whole weed, she's locking brothers up for weed. So I'm putting something up on Facebook. And Davey D, you know, in the chat was like, look, bro, listen, I hear you, but let me put you down with something. I'm up here. And that's not true.
It's not true.
Let me give you so that's when I started to do my deep dive on Kamala and what she was really about. And I'm like, man, there's no better candidate. We haven't had
no better candidate.
And I'll be honest with you, I know Barack did a lot. First of all, he saved this nation from the economic crash of 2008. Though, when we find out who was at the center of Bear Stearns,
well,
we know why nobody went to jail.
Nobody went to jail.
You know why, though, right? Why?
Do I? Wait a minute. Do I know this?
Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh man, that's right.
So if you start sending people to jail and people got to go to court and you start digging in them files, you come up with the Epstein files 10 years early.
10 years earlier.
I don't feel whatever it was. Yeah.
Ooh, I did know that. I forgot about that.
That's why nobody went to jail.
That he did not want to break that open.
Oh no, it's like that Vita broke out. So a lot of the articles that I wanted to share in this conversation, I don't have them now, but something recently discovered. It was a phone conversation that was revealed where was it Peter Thiel and Cory Booker.
All the names on that private.
It is private. They got this little community of special people who are preparing for the fallout. And you got Democrats and Republicans all a part of this thing. And it's like,
well, you know what? It's like you were saying when we first started, Hawk, about conspiracies. Sometimes there's something to those conspiracies. Mm-hmm. And that guy escaped to, where is he, in Venezuela right now?
Yeah.
And then it just, how did he leave the country? And then a couple weeks later, this all comes out. And it's about 200 names on that list, right? Republicans, Democrats, wealthy people, corporate CEOs, and like, what are y'all doing?
Wow. I got this song called Conspiracy Theory that I put out. I put out the year. When did I drop? I wrote the song in 2012.
Okay.
And then I recorded it the year Trump won the presidency.
Okay.
But as I came with the ism, I use it as a prism, refracts the light, illuminates your mind when you listen. Who shot Kennedy? It came from the bushes, trade guns for coke, make niggas push it. It's all conspiracy, fact, not theory. Y'all don't hear me. Y'all rather talk to Siri. The NDAA got me feeling kind of weary. No country for old men, no rest for the weary. Muddy mate. I go, wait a minute. Oh shit, I forget the fucking song. But I go in Obama. it's like, it's like, as much as you don't want to subscribe to the conspiracy theory world,
sure,
it has its place.
It does. It does.
It has.
I think it keeps things honest.
Yeah, it has its place.
And you know what? Look, look. I'm about Obama's age, and I've said before, especially with our community, we will criticize our own people. That's what we'll criticize our preachers. We'll criticize the business owner at the store down the street. It doesn't mean that we don't support them, we don't love them, we won't back them, and we won't defend them.
Right.
But we reserve the right to come at our folk.
My vision ain't blurry. I read it like a Kindle. Obama's at the wheel and he whipping it like a rental. That nigga is a Mac. They put him there to pimp you. They try to fuck us from behind, but that's not what I'm into. Martin had a dream. Muhammad had a scheme. Supreme's got a plan that involves a triple beam. You can't make it off the block caught with coke in your seams. Oh fuck! I'm gonna send you the record. You this record, but it's the we play this game of politics and government, and the local level is where the politics, the power really is, and it's about putting people in place above the
yes,
local
sir.
level. So there's leverage, there's lines of leverage that you can get some type of relief down on a local level. And I think that's what's ultimately what it's really all about.
Yes.
But yeah, man. Yeah.
That's good stuff. That's real good stuff. Hey, I like to hear that. And you know what? Listen, I like what you said about we could pull the levers and get leverage, because if we don't, somebody else is already using those leverage and levers, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Someone is using them somewhere.
Yeah.
And because that is the job of a politician, right? Whether we like this system or not, they are going to listen to the people who are either given to them or got something on them.
Yeah. The problem with conspiracy theory is that it talks us out of our power.
Yeah.
It freezes us. It keeps us frozen dealing with problems that are way above our head. We're never going to be able to stop what, Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and the tech bros. Like, you can't really stop that. But what you can do is create a buffer zone around you on the local level.
Yeah. It births apathy, right?
Yeah.
Conspiracy theories birth apathy. I have no control. I can't do anything. All these things are working, and I'm just too small. When actually, even though white people traffic in conspiracy theories as well, they never tell each other not to vote. It's always us. Don't vote. Get off the Democratic plantation. Both parties are the same. Voting doesn't count. You never hear that message going to young white voters.
Yeah. In one of the earliest songs, I said to you, the Jay-Z line, but I said, it's a game of this or that. We get treated like the black sheep.
Dang.
It's not this or that. It's this and that.
It's this and that.
It's this and that. It's voting and being active in the street.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what's really powerful. Do both. Yeah. Criticize, be angry, but also organize and also vote. Like, those things are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, for sure. Big bro, man. Yeah, we had a great hour and 20 minutes.
All right. I love it.
Yeah, I really appreciate you hopping on the HAKIM Green Show. Madism Sports is on hiatus until the top of football season. So I'll keep you plugged in so we can have you back on.
Oh, yeah. I'm a Raider fan.
Okay, that's all good. Go Vegas Raiders.
That's my team, man.
Boys. You guys got a new quarterback.
Yeah, we got the big Cuban, Mendoza.
Yeah, Mendoza, who seems to be a Trump supporter.
Yep. Man, you can't escape. What a mess, huh?
Yeah, what a mess. But we'll stay locked in. I'll be following you on your IG feed, of course.
All right.
Something jumps off, we'll have you back on the HAKIM Green Show. But
I'm ready for you anytime. Just hit me up.
There it is, my brother. Salute.
All right.
Yes, sir. Peace, y'all. This is HAKIM Green Show. I'll see you next week.